So that's the beginning of our Minuteman University Second Amendment Project Workshop. So do an effort to go live every Tuesday and every Saturday to help people with two Second Amendment projects. And I'll just get some work done. If this is time I'm basically allotting to working on Minuteman University projects, Second Amendment projects and things. So if people jump in to ask for advice, we'll offer it. If others want to join and help collaborate or help offer advice, welcome to. So if you're listening and you've got time to jump in, feel free. We're running this on the big channel on gun websites, YouTube channel while we have the audience. So it's going out ideally to 160-something thousand people are getting alerted that we're doing these workshops. We'll make it available every Tuesday and every Saturday. All right, I'm gonna go back on hold here for a second while I go check if that's the mail. What happens when there's nobody else in here. So waiting for the mail lady to come by. She sneaks by lately. I'm like taking tons of stuff, I guess. Anyhow, so gonna try to do these on a regular basis. We're broadcasting it on the big YouTube channel. We're watching the comments over there. I can see a couple of people on that side. I guess there's 10 people watching. Then of course we're simulcasting it over at gunchannels.com. Gun Channels is a community we built 5 years ago now. Thousands of people are members. Hundreds of people use the site, use the community probably every day. And then dozens of people are literally, it's their main place to have conversation. So again, part of the goal, calling it Gun Channels, is to keep it focused on firearms. And most of our projects are focused on firearms. And I'm interested in helping others to get their projects up off the ground. And that's what these workshops are for, to help others get their projects going. Sorry, I'm typing and talking at the same time. Doesn't always work good. One of the reasons I like having somebody else in the room with me. So if there's other people out there, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, we'll just leave this as a placeholder and know that we're going to be here every Tuesday and every Saturday. No one jumped in on Saturday either, but we got to kind of prime the pump, get people aware that we're doing these so that they can know to show up to them or bring questions. So I guess in the future, if you have questions, you can email them to me at gunwebsites@gmail.com. Or bring them to the Daily Gun Show. We do a podcast every weeknight. But if it's a specific Second Amendment type of project that you're working on at any level, then we'll be happy to offer whatever advice we can offer, or send you directions to resources that we're familiar with, or we'll help discover answers together if we don't know them. And again, ideally, if this turns into something, then others, experts in their fields, can jump on and participate as well, offer their advice, their tips and tricks, and if nothing else, network with people that are building projects. So it looks like John Z from New York jumped in. Got any specific, this isn't a chat or a lobby or anything, so if you have any specific Second Amendment project type questions?
I do not. Hey, how you doing?
All right, so again, this is focused on project development and nuts and bolts, nerd stuff. Clover does a chat on Thursdays, which gets everybody aware of some of the things that can happen behind the scenes or that are involved behind the scenes. Not necessarily difficult or impossible to deal with, but just a lot of times it's just a matter of discovering them. Once you've discovered some things, chatting with people who are doing similar stuff, different ways, is always good. So we've had that experience on gun channels quite a bit. I'm hoping to expand that to anybody who's interested. So that's why we're doing it on the public platform. Or I mean the YouTube platform, putting it out there for anybody who might be interested, putting the invite out there. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. So nothing's being said out there. Yeah, well, our goal isn't to get everybody off of YouTube. Just going to address Pete's question there in the gun channel side. Wish we could get all the chat people here instead of YouTube. That's not necessary. It would actually cost us a bit of money to provide a chat if we had hundreds of people over here or something. But right now, I just want to make sure that we have a useful tool so that people who are collaborating on projects and things can, use the internet as efficiently as possible. So, it's there for the people that want to use it, but we're not trying to duplicate or replicate anything. We're just trying to facilitate. I guess that's the word. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it is frustrating when people have just the entertainment chats and all the conversation happens on the YouTube side. That's just feeding the YouTube logarithms with all the information they need to better sell you stuff or better charge people to put ads in front of you. Our goal here is just to disseminate information, ideally from the ground up, from the user level up. That's useful just for the collaborative side for people that are interested in doing it. Hopefully useful for the community because you'll see more valid reviews, more valid perception of the community, politics-wise, gears, guns and gears, that kind of stuff from that angle. And then hopefully the industry can benefit from it too, getting an unfiltered, legitimate user experience for the products that are out there instead of the bias stuff that happens with the old paradigm.
Well, I don't know if you have any specific ideas you were looking to discuss, but I think it's a very good idea, and I watched this by one of your recent videos you did with your patches that someone had ordered, and I think it's a very good idea that anybody, anytime they make a video or create a channel, whether it's on YouTube, gun channels, gun streamer, whatever site it is, that you make the links available to those other sites and let people know to hashtag them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Use the strategies out there to tag or to tie content together cross-platform and between channels on platforms.
Correct. And I don't think it's I don't think it's so difficult, whereas you have one or two sites that you add additionally to every time you do a video or where you go live, whether that specific site doesn't have a live feature or not. When it's recorded, it's easy to post your links to those videos on those websites. They just upload them, and once your videos are uploaded to those sites, then they are there. So you have them as backup as well.
Right, and you've got them as backup, plus they're being distributed to those on those platforms. So ideally to potentially different audiences, people that engage the internet different ways.
And one of the ways you can do that also is by using other media forms such as I'm not big on it, but there's Twitter, there's Instagram, and you can get that information out. You can disseminate that information through those social media platforms. You have your links there, and anytime somebody clicks on the link, it goes to that video. So you get additional viewing time as well as possibly, hopefully, new subscribers.
Yes. A lot of the focus is when we've had discussions like this has been on the platforms themselves and development of your presence or your channel on those platforms. But my opinion is that the strategies that are out there, you want to, just like anything, just like any kind of learning, you're going to want to experience what all there is and then come at it from your own angle based on your needs and necessities or whatever. So I'm going to suggest my preference is to promote your brand or your project or your organization or your product or whatever it is, and use the platforms as tools. So a lot of people are coming at it from a very platform centric position, having used one or predominantly one platform. They come at it from the channel. What do we want to call it? Like their branding on that platform, and everything they look at is based on, from standing on that platform looking out. When that's not the only perspective on the internet, for sure, and certainly not the only perspective on just project development. You want to not only be aware of what it's like from the other platforms looking back, but also from just the internet or your customer's perspective, or the new person that's going to come across your stuff, or your longtime subscriber, your longtime participant angle. So there's lots of angles to good stuff. I guess it all depends on the age and the scope of your project as well.
And I just want to add, Guitar Man Pete also states that Clover did 9 platforms one time, and it turned out to be a good proven concept that it can be done. So Artisan Tony, it's not propagated only to that site, but don't forget you have recorded videos, you have live stream videos, and there's all forms of ways to get your message out there.
Oh, so Tony on the Gun Channel side is starting back here. He says Gun Channels doesn't do live
on YouTube.
Yeah, so he says, but Gun Channels doesn't do live streaming. Probably from what we were talking about before. Yeah, Gun Channels was never intended to do live streaming nor video hosting. That's not what Gun Channels is. Gun Channels is a community, and the platform that we use is a community software platform, or a content organizational platform. So we organize the community into individuals, of course, that are, members of channels, or at least can browse the content that's created through channels. And we leave the video hosting to places that do video hosting. That's technically a different thing as far as the internet's concerned. Hosting a video file on the internet is a different thing than bringing a bunch of active people together as a community. Just software wise and physically, it's different stuff we're talking about. It's also much more costly to provide a video hosting platform. Most of the existing platforms don't do much more than host and archive and organize your content, which was limited. That's what YouTube does. It allows you to create content and host it, and then share it and organize it, but doesn't really help build community, and it doesn't do much more except for allowing subscriptions and funding opportunities. It doesn't really provide much to the communities in general, the community, meaning the United States in general, other than to provide a place where people can organize stuff. So it was a great first step as far as the internet's concerned, but Gun Channels was never designed to copy what YouTube was doing. So as far as the live streaming, yeah, we don't do live streaming on Gun Channels. That's not one of our goals. We're not live streaming technicians and trying to build anything better there. We're simply just trying to organize people who are creating content and get them together on Gun Channels to share and collaborate. So yeah, we use YouTube for now. There's other options. There's guntube.org, which has a very well working Hangout system. It's a version of what me and John are in right now, a Hangout system. But he also has a live streaming system. So if you're producing a radio show or a podcast or live content of any kind, you can go to guntube.org and stream straight from there using all free software. It doesn't cost a dime. And Night Strike is just clever and interested in pursuing that line. So in addition to video hosting over on guntube.org, you can also stream live. You can stream live and then also have a live hangout like we've got right now with up to 10 or 12 people in it. So it's actually got better features than YouTube. So he's taken it a little bit further than YouTube's even taken it. And I know that some of the other platforms are working on the live streaming, because this is a pretty decent format for doing the podcasting. And like John was saying, when you have a live discussion like this, after it's over on the whatever platform it's on, they all render. Most of them render into a video when it's finished. And like John said, then you have a finished product. You have a video that you can either uh, edit and produce, or you can just take that raw live feed and or recorded live feed, I guess, and distribute that on whatever platforms you might want. So a lot of times a live feed ends up being an hour plus, and that's not digestible by every audience, but it's raw footage, so you could easily chop that up. A couple of times we've chopped little discussions out of a live conversation that was many hours long and posted that as a separate produced video. And there's value there, but everybody's doing different things on their channels and just have different goals and different audiences, right?
And like G-Wave said, this is a community. So Tony, Artisan Tony, didn't know that GunTube had the live streaming function. GunTube.org has that live streaming function, and now he's connecting with Night Strike to get himself on that platform and maybe get himself doing live videos on that stream or even recorded videos. The option is there. It's YouTube and all these other websites. All they provide is a place to put your videos, but
Sure.
that's not the community.
Well, not
Gunchannels.com is a community.
when it comes, I'm back a ways in the chat because I'm scrolling down from the back a ways, I guess, where we were chatting before. Then Pete is saying there's a chat on gun channels too. But the chat on gun channels is a separate thing. The text chat on gun channels is a just a text-based chat that we pay separate for from the system itself, and it's just really a place for us to message each other, leave messages, instant messages, or have group conversations in chat rooms. Again, for the different channels that are out there, and um, uh, that's the chat system we have over there. It's not perfect for sure, and over the years, it's 5 years old now, or we've been using it for 5 years. I have no idea how old the software is, but it is moving in a direction that's not conducive to what we're trying to do. So we are searching for new chat software over there. But that's the only real tool that we have over on Gun Channels. I mean, Gun Channels again is a community. It's just a framework for us all to get together and collaborate and network, and then gives us some shelves to put our finished products on to have some conversation with our audiences and with each other, as we do those things. And I guess it's a little bit live centric, but my goal has never been to make it emulate YouTube or anything. So our chat over there is beyond what YouTube does. Our live chats are independent of whatever live thing might happen. It's independent of whatever content type it is. So you could have a live chat over there as your underneath a bunch of pictures or underneath of a blog post. You could just say, hey, we're going to get together and have a live chat at 6 p.m. on Thursday. And there doesn't have to be anything visually happening. There could just be a bunch of people that get together and have a live chat. So from that angle, the live chat is a separate thing. It's basically one of the tools on gun channels. Like John said, the GunTube itself, GunTube.org, is a giant tool, and one of its tools in the toolbox is the live stream function. One is the Hangout function. So Tony used to do a bunch of live chats. He could easily duplicate those or emulate them over on GunTube, and it not only would give you the ability to do everything you did on Gun Channel or on YouTube, but it gives you actually a little bit more info. The Hangout room gives you info on your connection speed and your rates and stuff, so you can have a pretty good idea of if someone's having a connection issue, if it's an internet site or if it's on their computer. So there's a little bit more insight there. You can raise your hand, so you can have a more organized discussion. I think it's a better thing. Like say, Night Strike's looking towards the future, not just trying to add features to an old-fashioned system like YouTube's basically kind of forced to do.
And I just want to throw this out there again. The gunchannels.com website is about the community. There's a wealth of information within this community. The outlets that come from within this community is just a benefit of learning more about people and more about what other people do, because it's not just guns. It's we're loaded with lots of things, with lots of information from all walks of life. And that's the best part about a website like gunchannels.com. It affords you the ability to go to one place and get all sorts of information.
Yep. So it's not really a commercial for gun channels, but I don't know what's happening in the conversation down below. But I'm still back where Tony's saying there's a billion people on YouTube, so that's something that is a valid concern. So a lot of people want to focus on YouTube or justify their focus on YouTube based on the number of people that use the platform. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of people. What that billion people isn't in this country. We only have 300 million. So you automatically know that that is some amount of people outside the country, but it's more of an age range thing and more of an access to internet and an interest in being on the internet type of thing. So the type of people you're going to get on YouTube, as far as using the platform's ability to reach, is going to be limited to whatever those billion people happen to be. And I'm saying that because I think it's kind of heavily weighted. It seems to be heavily weighted towards youngins and people that are discretionary income, not people that are, not too many people are using YouTube for business or anything. It's not like a search engine where you might actually be using YouTube, a search engine for actual work. YouTube seems to be more playing around and casual. So your billion viewers on YouTube, I don't think they're there necessarily for business, although sometimes obviously there are business things done on YouTube. But the billion people are not necessarily who our content creators, Second Amendment content creators are focused on. So if we consider the large number of people that YouTube has gathered and brought to their platform as the pool, then we're limiting it ourselves. And I don't need to limit myself to what YouTube has decided to gather and decide that that's the population that I want to project out to. I want to project out to gun owners. And obviously that means more than just YouTube or internet, and even the internet. It means getting people out there in real life, and it means the magazines, and it means gun shops, and it means, I don't know, just the conversation, being part of culture and stuff. So the way they got rid of a lot of gun stuff is through culture, and we're not going to get it all back on YouTube. YouTube has some benefits, and it gives us some reach, but that, let's focus on what that reach is. And in this effort, this project, the 2A workshops are to help people, ideally, that are building their own website, or at least something that's not single platform based. Because single platform based stuff can be successful, but it's only ever going to reach that platform, right? Or very little reach off the platform. So ideally, we're going to have conversations with people that are building things that are internet based and not just platform based. So there's a chat on my stream, whatever chat on YouTube. At some point, YouTube will screw over 2A channels. I just hope we have people aware of some other ones. Right, so who cares? YouTube's going to fail. Everything fails at some point. I don't think YouTube's got too much longer in it. I guess everybody's got their own points of view on it. But there's no need, like you're saying, to depend on the one platform. I don't think we need to be too concerned about them screwing over 2A channels. Maybe we should be concerned at putting deliberate effort at educating YouTube of the benefit of having firearms, good pro 2A firearms content on it. And I don't know if anyone's ever put any deliberate effort at changing YouTube's mind. Maybe there's no point in any of that, but we're definitely going to continue to effort at whatever's next on the internet and let others focus on the way things are, or the way, basically a lot of people focus on the way things are based on the way things used to be. I don't think we're restricted to that. And I think that once, we've got a tremendous, once we realize that we've got a tremendous number of people on our side, and if we all efforted in any particular direction with intent, combined, we are, working together, we wouldn't need a YouTube. So that's why I'm a big fan of the new projects like GunTube.org, like GunStreamer, some of the others that are efforting towards making us more independent as a community, so that we can, working on the internet, can worry less about the intricacies of one platform. Keep moving.
And just to build on what you just said, GunStreamer and GunTube, they are free outlets. They are not there with robots in the little programming going and shutting channels down and silencing people. They're about the free speech. Whereas YouTube limits and shuts down channels and they have their agenda. We have these other outlets like guntube.org and Gunstreamer and many more that allow us to be who we are and to really enjoy what we enjoy with without being pounced on because someone else doesn't like what we say. So there's a lot of freedom of speech, freedom of thought to do what we like.
There's more freedom, and there's definitely,
Correct.
but there's not ultimate. So just like YouTube, you could have the perception, just like YouTube, GunTube and GunStreamer will shut down people if they come on and do things that are illegal or do things that are just weird, heinous, or whatever. They're going to shut them down. So there's free speech is when the government has control of you, but free speech doesn't mean you can walk into somebody's living room and crap on the carpet, call it art, and it's protected by the free speech. You've got lines. So these guys are making platforms that are pro Second Amendment, but the unsaid, unspoken assumption is that it's pro to a law-abiding, decent content, not just.
Correct. Those decisions are based on actual laws, not laws individual sites like YouTube want to make up.
Well, and that's what I'm just saying. They're going to have their own individual terms of service, like anyone should.
Correct.
But they are definitely going to be more open to our community's interests and stuff, firearms and whatnot. Second Amendment.
Absolutely.
Tony saying I don't see anything wrong with using YouTube. The only reason I'm not using GunTube is, number one, I forgot it's not enough of a habit yet, and number two, I'm trying to get the word out on these 2A projects. So I am taking advantage of the 160,000 subs that we've spent the last 9 years accumulating and catering to, because of the billion people on YouTube, that 160 something thousand at one point or another thought something that we did was interesting. I suspect they are more friendly to our message than the other people out there. But that's why you see I don't do much on our channel to cater to the logarithms or the other crap that you need to do to make your stuff more appealing to the casual surfer. I build my stuff more focused, more narrow-casted to people who already know what we're doing. I'm not interested in, what's the word, outreach on YouTube. Because most of the YouTube people, unfortunately, that I've encountered over the last however many years and however many thousands of people I've interacted with are a bunch of yahoos. People I interact with on firearms dedicated platforms are two things. One, they're firearms oriented, so that means they're better people. I don't care what you consider yourself disrespected there. If you're not a firearms person, you're not as good a person as a firearms person. It's just, that's the way it is. But also, if they're willing to go beyond the easy, beyond the most obvious, most easy platform on the universe, which is YouTube at this point, if they're able to go beyond that and go to the next level of intricacy, which is basically going to someplace else on the internet besides YouTube, none of us are building our platforms to be complicated or anything. But if they're willing to go outside of YouTube and actually use the internet a little bit and find a different site like GunTube, like GunStreamer, like Gun Channels, they've already got my bit more of my admiration and respect, because they're willing to put a little bit of work into it and not expect everything to be delivered to them in the easiest possible, lazy system. So not everybody who uses YouTube is lazy, but it's certainly built for lazy people. So I'm hoping that these efforts will eventually be off of YouTube completely, only because we won't. We'll have enough people on the outside of YouTube to cause enough commotion and enough stuff happening that people won't see that line as far as if it's present on YouTube or not. Well,
what it really comes down to is firearms are just a tool. YouTube is just a tool. There are other tools out there. You're not forced to use one over the other. Just saying.
No, and you cripple yourself by becoming too familiar with just one. And it's a perfect tool. All right, so slowly going through. It looks like we're catching. Oh, wait, did I catch up? No, I just jumped forward. So, Night Strike saying he could be live streaming on GunTube. And it definitely could, and it would be better. I'm getting on this YouTube and gun channels, and it's don't know and I don't care how the tech works. I just care that I can get it. That's good. And this one is a little bit nerdy, so we're going to be talking more about tech. And this particular thing, when you see it say Minuteman University, you know it's going to be Second Amendment stuff. And when it says, 2A projects workshop, then assume nuts and bolts. See, so just going through comments here. It's Tony and Nightray talking to each other for a while. We all got together on YouTube, but a lot of people got together on, Tony's saying that a lot of people, he's not sticking up for YouTube, I don't think he's what he's saying, but we all started there years ago. A lot of people who are in this conversation did get together on YouTube, correct. However, people got together on forums way before YouTube, and people got together on AOL before that. People got it together on MySpace in between, and people were on boards before AOL came along. So people, as soon as they could connect two computers together, people have been getting together, and that's going to be an aspect or an element that makes the internet so good. And a bunch of us did get together on YouTube, and it was a pretty powerful tool there for a minute, but by no means has it always been, exclusive or the biggest piece. Hell, we're called gun websites because I still believe websites are the one thing that you own on the internet. It's your own property. Google corrupt LAPD gun detail unit. What is that supposed to mean? Oh, Google. Some news story. What's all this about? So Kevin is going to be banned as a spammer in like 2 more moments if he doesn't say something that's pertinent to what we're talking about here. And yet another indication of YouTube.
There's a lot of spam.
Being big doesn't always make it better or best.
Well, I could understand what he's saying, actually, because in Los Angeles, they're all corrupt anyway. They're all Democrat. So I could understand what's being said there.
I guess, is it all one news story? I don't know. He just says, yes, an amazing news story. Well, whatever. I never heard of it. And this is Building 2A Projects Workshop, not a general chat. And we're talking about building 2A projects, or look for people who might be interested in chatting about stuff, answering questions, that kind of thing. Let's see. Oh, okay. Dano is saying that the Gun Deals channel is currently only letting mods and admins see and add to the page of sales. Okay. Well, it might be that way. I guess we'd have to go in and change that. So do that after the show. So again, I just wanted to let everybody know that we're doing these. I probably won't do them on YouTube every time. Do them on guntube.org, which is a better platform. And we'll be running these on Tuesdays and on Saturdays until we figure out what day people are able to show up. But it's a bit of an effort to do something in the middle of a day. It's a big country with a lot of people, and it seems like everything's still at stupid television prime times, which was great when everybody went to work and everybody drove in traffic and everybody ate dinner at the same time. But that's the old world. Nowadays, people are doing all kinds of things on different shifts, and those people should be included. And if this is the time that's after dinner for some people, then why not have a conversation with those people? And again, an effort to have conversation about projects that people are building. It's an important time. We're gonna see either more apathy as we're not, challenged on our positions, or we'll see simply defense. And I don't know how many years we want to talk about us going through the same paradigm. But something has to be done to change that, and we'll continue to put effort into that. If you want to come along for a ride like John did, head over to Gun Channels, ask for a link, and join in, and continue to have shows like this to get the word out and help people get their words out. Together we can affect change on a societal level, which will hopefully prevent some of the political stuff that's happening, so we can all have just funner times with our recreational shooting, collecting, and whatnot. Anything else you want to throw in here before we head out?
No, we're good.
All right. Well, thanks
for the invite.
Right on. Thanks for jumping in. I don't like doing these by myself, so I really appreciate it. And thanks to the people who participated in the comments out there. That's what it's all about. Being part of the new media is using the interactive nature of the internet, not just to get programmed or fed programmed information, but to be part of the communication.